Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where we talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Supernatural. A great but very sad episode. This is probably the most heart-wrenching episode I've seen in a while. It just kind of the whole episode was very somber. And it's sad because, obviously Jack did what he did and he didn't mean to. And what breaks your heart too is because you see Jack's desperation. He's almost, because let's not forget, Jack is still kind of like a little kid. He's like a little kid who did something wrong. Obviously, this is a much more extreme example, but it's like that thing of a kid who did something wrong that's scared to tell his parents. It's like he's scared to face Sam and Dean because it's like, I messed up big time and I don't want you to know. Because he's thinking if I can bring Mary back, then it'll be okay. Everything could go back to the way it was because because he's also got Lucifer in his head telling him that this isn't going to work out. The fact of the matter is there's no going back. You can try all you want, but it's not going to work. And because obviously you have Sam and Dean upset because obviously at first it's like, okay, Mom and Jack, I guess they just went back. They got something to eat. Wait. Mom's phone's here. They left in a hurry. We can't get in contact with Jack. He's popping up all over the place because he's trying to run. And even when he was trying to run, he still came back to the place it happened. Because, it's weighing him down and everything like that. And I think, what affected Jack most, too, is obviously something Lucifer brings up. It's the fact of the matter is you don't really feel anything. You're not sad. You don't feel guilty about this. It's just the echo. It's kind of like a shadow. It's a phantom soul. That little bit of humanity that little bit of humanity that was your soul, you're feeling like the residuals. This is how I'm supposed to feel. So that's what it's kind of all in. But I don't know if that is. Maybe that's the case, maybe not. But when you look at Jack, you do feel no, there's something there. But maybe it's kind of what Lucifer was saying. But it wasn't even the real Lucifer. It was just more so his subconscious, manifesting itself like that. Because it's not just about the way I think it's going to be that's how he thinks the Winchesters and Castiel are going to look at him, and that's how he looks at himself. It's I just did something my father would do. I'm becoming like my father. For him, probably all the good parts of him that represented Kelly, his mom, are all gone the moment his soul disappeared when he killed Michael. And so for him, all that's left of him is in his angelic side, and that angelic side comes from Lucifer. It's so interesting because I thought that would be the moment he lost his soul, that Lucifer side of him would take over. But it's in his mind, he looks at himself that way because he's that's all I am now that I don't have a soul. And I think maybe that's an even more reason why he wanted to try to save Mary, because it's no. If I do this shows that I'm good. Because I'm sure for him, it's everyone put so much faith in him to be good, and no, you are good. And now he's done this. Probably he feels like he let Sam down, Dean down, Cassio down, even his mom down. And that's probably another reason why he was so desperate to resurrect Mary. Because it's not only just that, too. It's she was family, too, I'm sure she was kind of almost like another mother to him, And it's sad because it's not like he just killed her. He dusted her body. There was nothing left. And, they end up trying to get, all of them are trying to get Rowena's help. And even Rowena, it's she's trying to tell Jack, it's okay, just talk to the Winchesters. They're your kin. The fact is they want the same thing you do. They want the same thing. Cassio wants the same thing. I want the same thing. But basically she sees that obviously Jack is unraveling. Obviously he's talking to himself, and she's he's not in a good enough mindset to use magic because your disposition affects the magic. And him not being in a great place mentally was not going to give him the results that he wanted. Because like I said, he's so desperate to bring her back to correct this mistake. And it's so sad when you break down the episode and you see, everyone's different memories with Mary. Castiel, his memory with Mary was pretty, I say probably around season 12 it took place, because obviously it was Mary's still kind of getting adjusted to I'm back and everything out here in the world is the way it is. Angels are there, and she's I'm a little freaked out. It's still a lot to process. But then, Cassio is telling her, hey, no matter how you feel, even though you're kind of readjusting, the fact is, the boys are happy to have you back. They've been alone for a long time. And then you have Mary being no, they were never alone, kind of saying, you were there for them. So then, a memory Jack kind of had of her, and that he kind of shared with Sam, it's the whole memory of like she's teaching how to use the knife, like basically while they were still looking for Dean, and he kind of kept messing it up, and like, oh, Dean's going to kill me about these marks in the floor, and she's like, kill you for what? And slides the table, like that heartwarming moment. And then you kind of combine that with, you know, Sam's side of things, where it was like he felt bad because he was so desperate to find Dean, he wasn't there for Jack, because Jack literally lost his powers, like something that he, you know, was a part of him. Like he literally lost a part of himself. And Sam was like, I'm so caught up in that, I should be there for him. And it's like, and you have Mary being like, it's hard, you know, being a parent and stuff like that. She's like, I'm glad to see, you know, I'm not the only one struggling with the whole parent angle, because for her it's like things were complicated. She was complicated, and you know, a part of being a parent is always feeling like you're failing, you know, at everything you do, but then you look and see like how awesome your kid is, and you know, she looks at her kids and she sees what kind of men that they grew up to become, and just being the bravest men in the world, the bravest and strongest men in the world that she knows, you know. And she's like, your kids will always surprise you, just essentially how awesome they are. And because obviously like Dean was super pissed because, you know, Castiel didn't tell them about Jack's situation. It's like, you saw him do the thing with the snake, you had doubts, you should have come to us. But for Castiel, it's like, I didn't want to break up what this family was. Like, the fact of the matter is he was family, and I didn't want to take the chance I might wreck that. He's like, so I thought I could handle it on my own. Because for him, it's like, I saw Jack as good. Like, it's like the fact, because even what Jack did, that wasn't like, you know, malice or evil. It was like purely like, he thought he was doing the merciful thing. It was just the absence of good, and he just thought he could fix it on his own. He's like, you know, because he's still, you know, because even after, you know, burning away that piece of his soul, like Jack was still there helping and everything. So they kind of felt probably like, no, he's still him, you know, that they didn't have to worry about it, you know, because Castiel probably didn't want to, you know, worry any, you know, start anything without there really being any reason to. And then, you know, on top of all that, you have Sam being like, you know, we always knew that Jack was powerful. You literally wanted to kill him because you were like, that much power, it shouldn't be in the hand of, you know, you were scared of that power at first, but then we fell in love with him. Like, the fact is, he became part of our family, because Sam is like, it isn't just on Castiel, it's on all of us. He's like, when he killed Michael and I was so caught up in losing Maggie and the other hunters, I threw kind of, you know, Jack onto Castiel and I left. And, you know, for Sam, he probably feels even more guilty because he was like, when Jack needed me before, like, I wasn't there for him, you know? And because Sam has been a big part, like, let's not forget, like, back when Jack was, you know, early season 13, like, Sam was there for Jack, you know, and so I'm sure he, you know, they've become a big focus for him, but like Sam was there for Jack in the beginning, you know, trying to help him through everything, even when Dean kind of wasn't on board at that point in time. And for him, it's like, probably he feels even more guilty because, like, I left him behind in two big moments. You know, it's like the moment he lost his powers, I wasn't really there for him. The situation where he got his powers back, but he was burned away his soul to protect us. And that's another element to this that I'm sure plagues them too. It's like, he burned away his soul, making a sacrifice for us. He killed Michael for us to protect us, his family. And it's like, what he became for us, you know, and that's what makes the situation sad, because it's not like, oh, he relinquished his soul and just went all evil. It's like, no, he burned away that side of him, his own humanity, to protect the people he loved, you know. And it just makes this whole situation even sadder, you know, that things have kind of come down to that. And, you know, even Dean starts blaming himself too, because it's like, Donatello warned me. The fact of the matter is, he said that Jack seemed good, but the fact is that, you know, considering him being like literally the most powerful being in existence in this universe, that might come with something that keep an eye on him. But, you know, none of them wanted to see it, because it's like, no, it's Jack. You know, he's part of the family. Of course, there'd be no problem. So, and, you know, Jack's desperate need to try and bring back. When Rowena was like, the fact is, with his disposition, he could bring back something worse. I was like, is the twisted thing going to be like, even through all this, he's going to end up bringing back Lucifer? I thought that was going to be the case. He ends up remaking Mary's body, but it's just a shell. And it's like, no life could actually be put into it. It's just a replica. And so for Jack, he feels like, I failed. Like, he knew at that moment he couldn't go back. and Castiel went to heaven because Duma was like, no, like, trust me, Mary's here in heaven, she's at peace, and he went to see, and she's with John, because no matter, like, it was an instant, like, it wasn't painful, she died in an instant, and it's just a situation of, I think she's at peace because she sees the position her boys are in. That the fact is, her, what held her on for so long too was like the fact is, I don't know if my boys are going to be okay, like what my boys had to go through without me, and she's seen who they are, what they're capable of, and she sees that they're surrounded by people that care, that they are not alone. And then probably like her recent, meeting with, John again. Because in her heaven, she's reunited with John and she's at peace. I think all that combined together makes it so that she's like, I don't have to worry about my boys. I don't have to go back because I know that they're okay. I can be at peace. And, obviously Castiel, Sam, and Dean won't be at peace because just this whole situation has them uneasy. But they give their mom the Shell, a proper funeral. It does beg the question, do you think that Jack ended up releasing something else when he was trying to bring her back? Was it fortunately just that replica, or was there something else brought back as well? And it's just sad that things kind of played out this way. And Jack now, he's stuck alone with like that side of himself, that subconscious of Lucifer being like, the fact is, they'll never trust you again. And the sad thing is, you can never trust them either. And Jack's kind of on his own in his world now, And it sucks that things played out this way. Like, I figured, like, Jack might sway over and become, like, the antagonist of this series. But I didn't expect things to kind of have, play out this way. Because even Sam was like, yeah, Jack might be a little off or whatever. But even he didn't, he felt that even before he left with the whole Maggie thing of, like, yeah, maybe things might not be 100% right with Jack. But even he didn't expect things to turn out this way. No one did. I definitely didn't see it coming this way. And it's just, none of them will be the same after this, I don't think. Like, I think more so than anything that coffin that they had for Michael is probably going to be where they put Jack. Whether he'll go willingly or not, who knows? Because that's the only means of stopping him, because there's nothing else in the universe powerful enough to kill him, So I get the feeling like it's probably going to come down to something like that, so we'll ultimately have to wait and see what the next episode has in store for us. Like I said, it was just kind of just a somber episode that just kind of all the way through kind of wrecked you a little bit, so. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.